No, you do the intro.
No, you do the intro.
No, you do the intro.
Hi, I'm Dr. Minette Riordan here with my husband, Brad Dobson. This is the Path to Profit podcast. And it's just the two of us again this week. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see we're even in a different room today. We're in Brad's office instead of in my office. And it's late in the evening because our schedule kind of fell apart a little bit today. We had a scheduled guest who had an emergency. And rather than using the scheduled time to record the podcast anyway, we let something else take priority. And so then we're scrambling, going, okay, we got to get this done. It's got to go out tomorrow. Tomorrow's crazy. And so our theme for this evening is all about time management and the power of systems. And, you know, it's fascinating because Brad and I have been talking a lot about this with each other, and it's been coming up over and over again with my clients as we start this new year. So Brad has a great quote to start the show with, to start us off.
Well, I have to, this is actually take two. And the first one, we forgot.
Total shameless.
We forgot our system to get the quote.
Yeah.
Which we have in place. We just didn't do.
Yeah, he created the system because he's way better at systems than I am.
Anyways, appropriately, the quote of the day on my screensaver is, "If we do not discipline ourselves, the world will do it for us," by William Feather, who I've never heard of, but it's a fantastic quote and very apropos for this evening and our podcast today. You'll get handed everything on a plate if you don't figure it out and be disciplined about how you approach things.
Or you'll get nothing handed to you on a plate, which is what tends to happen in your business when you don't have systems in place, when you don't have a marketing plan in place, when you're not clear about what needs to happen, then nothing happens. And I don't want that to happen for you. I've seen it happen for me and for so many of my clients as well.
Yeah, and I'd like to just add that this is super important whether you're putting in 1 hour a day on your hobby business or whether you're a CEO. I mean, clearly it's important if you're a CEO of a big company. I'm the CTO of a very tiny company, just the two of us with some team. And it's crucial. It's just simply critical, both the time management aspect and the repeatable systems aspect. I'm kind of getting a kick out of my newfound entrepreneurship over the last year, in that having spent so much time in software and software engineering, systems are second nature to me. And I kind of floundered a little bit until I realized that really what I needed to be doing in the business was creating systems and making things more efficient and more repeatable. That doesn't necessarily show up on the bottom line immediately as sales, but it sure does when you're talking about systems for follow-up, for marketing follow-up, and sales follow-up, systems for just regularly getting your content out the door, systems for your finances, all those types of things. So whether you are happily plodding along at an hour a week in your hobby business or anything more, you need to implement the systems, and you need to take care of the time management. And Minette is the queen of time management. Not all the time, but.
So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see me shaking my head, but if you're listening to the podcast, I love to talk about time management, and I love to create systems for time management. And I'm not always the best about implementing the systems that I actually set up, but it's a conversation I do have with my clients over and over again. In fact, I had that conversation with one today who was feeling overwhelmed by the number of tasks, by the number of new systems that she's implementing and all the different steps and stages that need to happen as she continues to progress in her use of these systems. So we realized that she had been the managing editor for a big magazine, and she was used to, like Brad, of having these big tracking systems and spreadsheets that mapped out everything that needs to happen. So if you come from a corporate background of any kind, it's great because you do have some training. Other people really love, and actually you love this book, The Get It Done.
Oh yeah.
book, and the
a
Get
long
It
time
Done
ago.
method and model is a really great one. But, you know, from my
Getting things done.
Getting
GTD.
things done, GTD,
Yeah.
getting things done, GTD, getting things done. And planners seem to be like super, super popular. So I'm a huge Facebook ad junkie because we're adding Facebook ads to our funnels. So I tend to read all the ads and to click on them. And once you click on one, you tend to get a whole bunch of ones that are really similar. So right now there are so many planners out there in the marketplace, and they're all pretty similar. And I think the thing that planners have in common is one thing: it's helping you to focus on the right tasks. And where I see entrepreneurs really struggle, including where you and I have been struggling for the last couple of weeks, is, well, first I'll acknowledge us, because one of the things we've actually done really well over the last month or so, we've done a lot of big visionary strategic planning. Like, we're crystal clear about what our goals are. On our last episode, we had a lot of fun talking about our mission and our values, and we have a really big mission over the next 3 years. Our mission, if you didn't hear the last episode, is to help 3,000 creative entrepreneurs to 3 times their sales, their income, and their clients. It's a big goal, and that goal requires us to be different. And time management and strategy is a lot of it, big piece of that. So here we are looking at this big financial goals, big strategic goals. And now it comes down to, okay, we have a lot of tasks to make those goals happen. And Brad keeps saying, I need support around prioritizing the tasks, right? I'm really clear about what my job in the business is. I need to go make money. I'm the salesperson, right? So I tend to be the one that's out of the house, and yet there's still lots of work for me to be done and lots of co-creating that happens around the content in our company. And so it's learning where to find the parallels in the work that we're doing, where to find the crossovers and the co-creation. But I think the most important thing is to just find a system that works for you. And 99.9% of our clients are super creative, just like me. And so getting organized is not our forte.
Yeah, and structure isn't either.
Structure's not.
And it can be a struggle as a partner to someone who likes things unstructured. That can be a struggle. Partner in business, a partner in life. But yeah, it's difficult to crave structure, want the structure, but then have someone on the other side of things who wants to do all the same things, and the ship's pointed in the same direction, but wants to do it in what seems like an unstructured or is it laissez-faire, or maybe I'm trying to say crazy fashion, but so there's a lot of back and forth about that, and what the best approach is.
And one of my biggest gifts and my biggest curses is how much information I have the capacity to hold in my head. And I hold all these things in my head, and if they don't get written down, they don't necessarily get prioritized either. So we've created a few processes for our clients, and some of you, if you've been listening to our show for a while, I actually wrote a book in 2016 with my friend Robin Simons from Crescendo Publishing. She has this amazing series called Instant Insights. And my Instant Insight is a time management system for creative entrepreneurs. And in that book, we talk about one of my favorite things to do. And it's like I told Brad, it's like, this is where I get to the point at least once a week. I just need to do a massive brain dump. I need to just get all the information, all the tasks, all the concepts, the priorities, everything, all the projects out of my head and onto a piece of paper, preferably a large piece of paper with lots of pretty crayons and markers and gel pens. And Brad's way to get it all out of his head is this really cool mind map that he created online. And did you use Simple Mind to do that? Or?
I use FreeMind, which is a free mind mapping tool. It's excellent. And it's funny because I was journaling just here the other day, and this is related to the coming into the new year and focus, some more focus. But I wrote down the mind map is simply not enough for where I am right now in business. I actually needed to take it a step further and have a full task management system. Like, I can get all the tasks and deconstruct things into a mind map, but that's insufficient for prioritization and for scheduling and things like that. And at some point, depending on the type of person you are, that becomes really necessary. And it certainly has been for me. Yeah. At the same time, you could do things like the system Minette has for creative entrepreneurs and that's also captured. So it's captured in the time management system book, and then a big piece of it is captured in the Artful Profit Planner. You can take that approach as well, which is another way to focus on what your goals are for each day, that type of thing.
Yeah. So I love that Brad mentioned Free Mind, Simple Mind is another one. Another fun conversation we've been having, and maybe we'll do this on the next show, is share some of our favorite tools as entrepreneurs that do keep us on track and on task with our different projects and different things that we have going on. So sure. Some of them are really creative, some of them are really practical, but note to self.
Yeah, right.
To talk about tools that we're using that have been really effective for us. But one of the first things for me that's always crucial is to do that brain dump, to be able to see all of your tools, tasks. You can tell it's late in the evening and my words are all getting rolled up together. Need some more tea. And just getting it all out of your head where you can see it. I'm a big fan of tearing up your to-do list, because what happens with to-do lists is they tend to be incredibly long or incredibly scattered over a series of different notebooks, my favorite thing, and a whole bunch of sticky notes. They're not prioritized, and you often have do laundry and go grocery shopping on the same list with your marketing task and make sales follow-up calls. And especially if you don't like marketing or like sales, you probably choose to do the laundry and go grocery shopping instead, which is not going to get you on the path to profit and keep you there. So what I really encourage my clients to do is to first just get everything out of their head, personal as well as professional, and then to separate the lists into what are home-related tasks and family-related tasks. I mean, we have house-related tasks, we have family-related tasks, we have, make sure there's daytime together, is quality time with the kids. Sometimes maybe we have 2 teenagers, and right now we have a son applying to college and our kids are in music. And so there's all this home stuff that creates a lot of mental space in our minds, right? And so if it's not written down in some way where we can go back and check on it, and even over there, like we talked about last time, our core values really come into play with where we're spending our time, our energy, and our money on our family side of things as well. But then looking at your business tasks and prioritizing your money-making tasks first. This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see creative entrepreneurs make, is that they spend a lot of time spinning their wheels. Like I personally wasted way too much time trying to get a transparent image on a background today to make a new graphic, right? And it's like, oh, I could have just gone on Fiverr and probably found somebody to do it. But, again, it was something I waited to the last minute because I had a creative idea and I thought, oh, this would be really cool to add to my talk for tomorrow. And, ultimately it didn't work. And so, it's like it was a loss of time and not really a priority. It was not on my to-do list, my checklist for today. And then the last strategy that I'll share with you about that piece is around time management, is what we call our daily big 6. This has probably been the most transformational tool, practical strategy that we have really taught to our clients. And it's about putting no more than 6 things on your to-do list every day. In fact, Brad and I also been talking a lot about morning routines and things we want to get done in the morning. And I was writing in my journal last week about my morning routine. I had way too many things on my morning routine. Like even that was like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And it wasn't all morning. It was just daily routine. And there's no way I could accomplish it and get the kids to school and get myself to work. And, so it's like realizing that we overestimate the amount of time things, or underestimate the amount of time things will take. And we tend to get really excited about what we're going to accomplish. So by putting no more than 6 items on your list, your big 6 list, that you commit to doing before you go to bed at night, this one activity will create massive momentum in your business. Some of those items might be personal. Sometimes it's really important to go to the grocery store and do laundry, right? No clean undies for tomorrow. So just noticing what needs to go on that list. Are there items that are falling to the bottom of the list every day that are really crucial? Are there items that keep getting put on your to-do list that really aren't yours to do? Could be outsourced, or you could ask your spouse for support or ask your kids to chip in. So being more intentional with your activities is a big part of what we teach. And that's actually, you can find that in our planner. I love planners so much I had to create my own. And it's the Artful Profit Planner. and it's free. You can go to artfulprofitplanner.com and download your copy today and get some more fun insights into what Brad and I are working on.
Yeah, and I would add to that, I don't think we captured this in the planner, but what I found personally is if you're setting that list of to-do items for the next day, or for what's tomorrow? Wednesday?
Yeah. No,
it's
Tuesday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
What I've had really...
Not a good way to start the week.
Yeah, right. I don't even know what day it is. What I've had a ton of luck with is setting the intention for that big 6 the night before.
Yeah.
Maybe you just journal for 5 minutes. Maybe you journal for 30 seconds. But something about just writing those out before you go to bed sets it in your mind. And gosh, the next day, those things just flow that much more easily. Because you're mentally, you've processed them overnight and they became part of your dreams, part of your waking moments. And they're just, hey, this is what's going to happen this day. So there's no decision making in the morning about those big items. It's already been decided. You made that decision, and sometimes you're going to have to adjust, obviously, but it's pretty effective. So try that one as well. I think, yeah, there's just so many things that we could talk about with time management and systems. This conversation's funny because you can tell I'm the systems guy, so I keep on coming back to systems, and she's talking about time management.
But they really go together. And so here's the thing, and this is what I tell my clients, that you can make all the to-do list in the world. You can use any planner that's out there on the marketplace that you love, whether it's the Stephen Covey planner, the Profit Planner, or the Freedom Journal, or there's a few other ones that are really popular out there right now. It doesn't matter which one you use. The trick is one, consistency. I know it's the beginning of the year and it's so easy to get excited about implementing new systems. One of my favorite really artful planners for creatives is the bullet journal. So if you want to create your own planner, I would check out Bullet Journal on Pinterest. There's some really juicy stuff. Go to my Pinterest board. I'm Dr. Minette. No period in there, just Dr. Minette on Pinterest, and you can see my bullet journal bulletin board and get some fun ideas.
Yeah, because Pinterest
really cool
is
concept.
A great use of your time.
Oh, it's a total rabbit hole. I love it, but I don't go very often. So it's definitely not one of my primary marketing activities. But the thing about taking then that concept of the big 6, creating it the night before, first thing in the morning, whatever is your preference, is to making sure that you've blocked time in your calendar to actually get those things done. I was talking to one of my clients today who has a lot going on. And I said, and she says, oh, can I do like finances one afternoon and marketing one afternoon? I'm like, you need to be doing marketing every day. Until your client base is full and you're at your revenue goals, marketing should be your primary activity in your calendar every day. And so one of the things that Brad and I talk a lot about is how can we create better systems for implementing marketing, for tracking marketing. So maybe you could talk a little bit about maybe Hootsuite or some of the other things we've done, the editorial calendar.
Sure. And I guess just generally on that point, you can use time management as much as you want, but if you're incredibly inefficient doing a repetitive task, it's not really going to help you. If you're churning away 50% of your time just repeating the same mistake every time, that's such a huge waste. And that's where it's helpful to write down a system for yourself, or a system that you can give to a VA.
You give an example of a couple of the ones that you've created?
I have a system for our podcast recording. So, when we're going to...
And is it really, so you're calling it a system? It's also, I would say, a process or a procedure. It's literally a step-by-step, do this first, do this second. Don't forget to turn the home phone off.
Literally a Google Doc with a numbered list of statements. I have exactly the same thing for... the financial work that I do on the 10th and 25th for our profit first based accounting stuff. So I'm able to just open up a Google Doc, start with bullet number 1 and go through bullet number 10 and I'm done. Instead of every time it's the 10th or the 25th, I got to look up passwords. I've got to figure out whatever the procedure was to transfer money out of PayPal into an account. I don't have to worry about that because I've written it down, and it's just a system that I could literally give to somebody else, except for I don't want to give away all our passwords.
But you've done the same thing so we use Entreport for our email delivery, right? So he's created systems we have a brand new virtual assistant that we've been working with for a few weeks. It was so easy for her to just step in and start doing our weekly newsletters, because Brad had created the system. He created actually video training.
Yeah, a couple of screencasts, video training, just capture, here's how you work in Entreport to create a message and stuff like that. And it simply meant that I was able to give her a Google Doc and a couple of YouTube links and say, hey, take the 15 or 30 minutes to train up on this, and then she can start, as opposed to trying to, describe it over the phone or something like that. And so, repeatable systems that you can give to other people. And of course, having a CRM tool like Entreport or Infusionsoft or whatever allows us
Campaign, MailChimp,
I mean, Entreport, I guess, is maybe more like Infusionsoft in that you can do just a ton of automation outside of just email marketing. So we're able to have people schedule their podcast interview with us and have it automatically set up a Zoom call and automatically send them email sequences and all sorts of fun things like that, which means that I'm not spending 2 extra hours doing that every week. Those are those efficiencies that you can gain, and you can do amazing things with automation and systems in place where you're not wasting time, doing stupid stuff that you're just redoing every time, reinventing the wheel every time.
So why do these systems matter? They matter because most of you got into business, if you're listening to this podcast, to one, be making money, and two, to have the lifestyle that you want to lead. That might be a location independent business. It might be a brick and mortar. It doesn't matter what the business model is. But what it does mean is that you need to create systems that, one, you can either pass off to someone else, or two, you're not wasting time, like Brad said, because the concept of building a business is really about being able to replace yourself. And we don't always think about this as solopreneurs. But as we build this business, we need to be able to up-level our own success and our own visionary and integrator roles in the company. And by freeing our time, like the more I can free my time from mundane tasks, the more I can network, I can speak, I can go out and do all these other things. The more I can write, the more I can make art.
Yeah, and it comes back to being in your zone of genius.
Yeah, totally does.
You don't get to be in your zone of genius if you're making the same mistakes.
Well, it's not even about making mistakes, Brad. It's about doing the same repetitive tasks over and over again, or having to go back and look up the information and remember the process every single time, spending half an hour resetting passwords. It's about making things simple. So one, you're more efficient, and two, you can work towards bringing other people into your company easily. The hardest part about hiring a VA is getting stuff out of your head as the owner of your company and into a system that someone else can use. So we encourage you to start documenting everything that you're doing. When I had my publishing company, I remember the first office manager I had said I was the Erin Brockovich of my company because everything was in my head. There was so much information. There weren't any systems. So it took her almost interviewing me to get the systems out of my head and into a format that she could do. And then when she was ready to step into a different role in the company, we actually were able to just hand those systems off really simply to someone else. I happen to be someone that is happy inside of systems. I don't love creating them. So look for partners that can support you in that. Did we talk about the Rocket Fuel book?
No, that's
on one of our other calls.
We can definitely talk about that. I wanted to add to this though. Don't think that we're just talking about stuff in the digital world or book stuff, book procedures. If you're wasting time booking your travel every week or every 2 weeks because you're dealing with, X different websites, get a travel agent and tell them all your preferences. People have been doing that for years.
Yeah.
If you're wasting time on your travel packing, deciding on X different sets of clothes, just come up with the best ones and use them every time. I could go on and on about different things. So sales conversations, sales scripts, People have had sales scripts for 100 years.
Yeah.
Minette has sales scripts. Sometimes she fails to use them. The sales don't go as well when we don't use them. Wow.
Yeah, pretty much every aspect of your business can have systems. And I think one of the things that when I started my coaching practice and I was working with one of my first mentors, and she always said that systems liberate you. And I didn't want to believe that because had come from the publishing world where everything was so deadline driven that I was so excited to have more flow. But what I realized was all that flow made it really difficult. I didn't have deadlines. I didn't have priorities. I didn't have anyone saying, I need to get this to you then, or by when, or right. There was no accountability. And so the hardest part about being a solopreneur is manufacturing your own deadlines and accountability. And just some simple systems can actually create so much freedom in your business. And they can be sexy, they can be attractive, because when you're more efficient and save time, you actually have more time for all the things that you love most. Your family, making art, riding your horse, taking the dogs for a walk.
Heck yeah.
Reading trashy romance novels.
Well, maybe you are an artist or a maker. And then you get to spend more time in a flow state, actually doing your best creative stuff. It's going to free you up from that type of thing.
And part of that whole time management thing, and this isn't a big conversation we'll get into today, but managing your email, stopping checking your email every 30 seconds. Like when I want to be in a creative flow, everything has to get turned off. If I know I have to write a new presentation or design something or create blog content, don't be letting all those beeps and buzzes. I finally turned Facebook notifications off on my phone because they're just constant, right? Hundreds of notifications a day that so-and-so posted in the group, and none of them were important, right? But I was checking them or they were distracting me. So turning off notifications, email, things that are distracting you, so that when you have scheduled that nice time block for a creative pursuit, whatever it is, whether it's planning or strategy or creative time, be nice to yourself and give yourself that time and let go of everything else. I think it's what a lot of the famous writers talk about. Another amazing book is The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield.
I haven't read that.
Yeah, you should. It's all about procrastination. And creatives are brilliant at procrastination.
I could write a book about procrastination.
Yeah, his book is all about overcoming procrastination.
Interesting.
And so it's a really, really great read. So we mentioned a lot of books tonight. We got to remember to put in the show notes.
Cool.
But it's so much of it is about creating habits and rituals and doing the same thing every day and blocking out your creative time, blocking out your financial time. Like, I think Profit First changed your life just from the simple perspective of, oh, I can just do money stuff on the 10th and the 25th. That's it. And the rest of the month, I can let it go. Do things come up? Yes, we got to move money around between accounts, and, little things come up. We got to pay off the credit card so we can charge it back up again, right?
Yeah. And that's a fantastic example of a system that you can just read the book, have a system, you put it in place, you're done. Yes. It's all good.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it again.
Yeah. So a couple of great resources if you're really struggling with time management as you're getting the year started would be my book. You can get it on Amazon.com, Instant Insights, a time management system for creative entrepreneurs, or artfulprofitplanner.com, which is a free planning resource. And I think I'll just talk about that for just another second, because one of the things that has made me really successful in my business is this combination of what Brad was talking about being really intentional with the activities. So using affirmations, gratitudes, and celebrations in addition to planning your big six. So every day being grateful for every penny flowing in, celebrating something great happened today, like it's 7:30 at night on a Monday night in Goleta, California, where we're getting our podcast recorded. We're celebrating that fact.
That's right.
Right? So it's just noticing that every day there's small wins, right? Sometimes there's huge, awesome, exciting wins, but we tend not to celebrate the big wins, because after every big win, there's always so much more to do. So remembering to just take a pause, to express gratitude, to be intentional about your actions. Like there was at one point, maybe last spring, or no, it was before our first event in 2015. Like every day for a couple of months, my mantra every day was, I get one new client today. I get one new client today. And it worked. Brad, I got another client. Brad, I got another client. Why aren't we doing that? And so what is it that you need to create in your life? Be really intentional. So the Artful Profit Planner, again, it's a free resource. Highly encourage you to check it out.
Yeah, and I guess I would just add to to close for me at least, don't be afraid of systems. For someone like me, it's
or time management.
Yeah, I get a creative blast out of creating systems. I know that sounds geeky, but hey, there you go.
He's my geek, and I love it.
You know what? You either find that in yourself or find that in your partner or people around you. You need it. If you're someone like Minette, who's more of the visionary type and more
scattered, crazy, too many ideas.
Her words. I wasn't going to say that.
I own it. I totally own it.
Find that person. It will help you tremendously. You're going to struggle doing it yourself. So hire that person, find that person. Maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your kid, maybe it's just a friend, but figure that part out. It'll help you a lot.
Yes, and as always, we are Minette and Brad on the Path to Profit podcast, and this is a co-creative journey, right? This is, we're on this journey right along with you. We're maybe 2 steps ahead, maybe a few more steps ahead, maybe some steps behind other people. And there's parts of our business that we're great at, and there's parts of us where we're really still on a steep learning curve. And so any insights and strategies that we can share with you, we share with an open heart and an open mind, and just to let you know that this is what's working with us for us. And I think that systems and time management are the 2 that we're always working at in our business.
Yeah, and we're happy to share them. Let us know. Send us an email. Hit us up in the show notes with a comment. But I'm happy to share processes. You want processes? I'll give them to you.
Share them all day long. So that's it for us tonight from Goleta, California.
Good night, guys.
Brad and Minette, the Path to Profit podcast. Please, please, please take a moment and go give us a loving review on iTunes. Help us boost those ranks. We'd appreciate your feedback, input, or shoot us an email and tell us what else you'd like to hear us talking about so that we can support you on your path to profit.